The Haze Hour is sponsored by Janty, pioneers in e-cigs.
Well, hello. If you were sat watching it, well, on the only channel that's live tonight, you'd have seen daftness and what have you going on. But for those of you watching after the event, after the fact, after the evening, afternoon, yes, we're back on Justin TV again tonight, and it looks as though we might be for a wee while. Live stream is based in New York, and we know what's been happening in New York, and it's not nice. My heart goes out to everybody over on the eastern seaboard of the USA. I wouldn't like that to be happening here, that's for absolute certain. And they're having a few problems with power, with pumps, with God knows what. So rather than take a chance of it all going, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Tits up. We've decided to use the backup plan of Justin TV. And as somebody in chat has said, moonlit in fact, it's there just in case live stream's gone for a Burton, which it's backup, but we don't know that it's going to be back up on a permanent basis. So here we are on Justin, and tonight's going to be, it's going to be exciting. As you can see, Keith free, no Keith, so I can get all my mods out and put them anywhere on the table. It's great, I don't care. But tonight I've got two very special guests in video. We're going to have a look at the VH Reflow. We're going to have a look at the shortstop. We're going to have a look at either the Ego Mega or what's it called, or the Vision Spinner and the Ego Twist together, and then brand new we're doing mesh wicks, and then a very special show how from Yorkshire, where men are men and sheep are fleet of foot because they're worse than Welshmen, so they are. And that's all tonight on the Haze Hour. Yes, that's all to come tonight. It's going to be a packed show, so I'm going to have to stop burbling quite as much as I am wanted. As you know, I just go wandering off down the highways and byways of things to talk about. I'm going to go straight into this one because everybody at the moment, apparently, if you go to any of the forums, everybody's talking about rebuildables, and probably with good reason. Because with a rebuildable, you can do pretty much what you like and you're not tied to what you can buy. So, you know, I've got a good friend up in North Tyneside. She's a nice lass. Mother of a vampire apparently, and a bit of a witch, she tells me. She's been playing with something. Have a look at this.
Hi there, it's Kat. Just on my way to do a bit of shopping off to Tesco when the postie arrived. So, you know, that kind of wait, if you've got vape mail, you kind of wait till you get back. I'd ordered a couple of clear tanks for the Did clone. And when I was ordering that, I spotted this. So what is it, you ask? It is the VH Reflow from Vaporhood. See? So I was curious as to what it was because there was no internal picks or anything like that, but it said, you know, it had an adjustable drawer. So I thought, I'm going to have to give it a go. So it's just arrived, and it's got a little nut there that you can turn and twirl, and then this whole top section comes off, but I'll show you that in a second. Now, I don't know if you can see them. There, you can just catch them there. There are 3 holes, and this is obviously where you get your airflow. Very reminiscent of the GG EFS and UFS. So it's obviously a dripper. So I've dripped some juice into it, and I thought, give it a go. Now inside there is a silica wick, and I have to say, bags and bags of vapour and bags and bags of flavour. Throated, not a lot, and that's my own fire and ice that I mix up. So I expected a little bit more. It's very, that's on that setting, it's very light and airy. Now close that right down. And it's more of the draw I would expect. That's better for me without anything over showing of those holes, but just a tiny bit. Again, acceptable. But it is quite an airy vape. But if you open it too much, if it's fully open, vapour glow, flavour glow, but very airy and not a huge amount of throated, but that's what you would expect. Let's hope I haven't got juice all over the place here. I'm going to open it up for you. Don't know whether you can see that clearly or not, probably not. But it's simply a silica. Now, I haven't used silica for ages, and I have to admit the taste was horrendous when you first vape on it. And this came pre-coiled, may I add. It was absolutely awful, but and I could taste it through the fire and ice. But, you know, that's gone now with just a few goes with it. $13.99. Too tight there. Open it up just slightly. Are you seeing that? So, if you're into flavour, which I am, and you like a dripper, which, to be honest, I don't use drippers a lot. It's canny, and I mean, it's on a twist there. Now I've turned the twist right down to its basic setting. It's a bit nicely there. Sort of a midway setting on the twist. Round about what, 4 volts, 4.5. Still getting a bit of that taste from the silica there. But there you go, $13.99. That is an initial look as it's come, you know, it's just arrived 10 minutes ago. So you can't class it as a review because I have not used it for a week or two. It's simply a quick look. And for those of you that are into drippers, at $13.99 it's well worth the investment to give it a go. And it's hardly an obtrusive bit of kit, is it? It's very canny, actually. Right, on that note, Tesco. Ta-ra!
She's getting a bit good with all this editing stuff, you know, is Chris. But there it is, the VH Reflow. And if you couldn't see before, the holes are just there off the end of my finger. Just see them just there. And very, very reminiscent of another device. Very, very reminiscent of another device. VH Reflow from Vapor Hut. £13.99 if you like dripping. It's no good me dripping. I'm just not good enough at it, is what I'm not. Just not good enough at it. And if I could find me glasses, I would try and read what's in chat. But I cannot. So what we'd probably better do is blast straight on with, it's another new piece of kit that's come out. And again, it's not a review. It's not a preview. It's first look with a little bit of testing. And this is the short stop. Now, I've explained all about it on the video, so I'll just go for that. It's a busy day today. I'm going through all kinds of stuff and trying to get myself caught up on everything I should be looking at. And yet again, life's busy. There's so much stuff, new stuff coming out, it's hard to keep on top of it. So I'm seriously busily filming as I go. As stuff comes in, brand new, I'm taking a first look, and then we'll kind of give things a bit of time working through their paces and see how they go. And this is one of the latest items to land on the desktop. Now, you might recall a few months ago we looked at a piece of kit which was marketed as being capable of protecting any mod that you might have had. And this is kind of a new take on that. This is called the short stop. Now, my criticisms of the original piece of kit was that once it had gone, that was it. Once you blew the fuse, because that was basically what it was, you'd blown the fuse and you had no further protection with you. And we also discovered that a protected battery would react more quickly than the fuse itself. So the protected battery would stop something from working, and really it didn't live up to the claims that were on the packet. And that's one of the things that got to me. However, the short stop is something different. It has one aim, and that is purely and simply to protect against shorts. And the documentation that comes with it, and here it is such that you are left in no doubt. And let me just read you. This comes from Holocron Labs and has been sent up by Daz at e-cigs. It says, the short stop sits between one end of your battery and the rest of the circuit, and by using miniature positive thermal coefficient technology, heat in other words, we can intelligently slow down the flow of electricity from the battery in the event that the load tries to use too much current. If we had to draw an analogy, it works very much like the seatbelt in your car, in that if you crash, it prevents you from leaving your seat. One of the key points, however, is that the positive thermal coefficient technology that we employ will reset after a 2-minute cool down period. You do not need to replace your short stop after it has arrested a short. Simply let it cool for a couple of minutes before using it again. And everything's there. You simply place your short stop between the battery and whatever the battery is powering. There are no polarity concerns, meaning it works on either end of the battery and in any orientation. So it doesn't matter which way around you put it, it'll work. Now, the caveats are, it's not designed to operate at above 12 volts DC. It can be used in single or multi-cell applications. It'll begin current limiting at around 5 amps. It will become warm after limiting current, that's normal. Allow it to cool for 2 minutes and then it'll start up again. And so on and so on and so forth. You will note, and this is the bit, they do not guarantee any specific level of safety or mitigation by using this device. And then there's a bit that you agree to doing it at your own risk, and you disclaim and hold harbourless Holocron Labs and its agents, officers, shareholders, partners, resellers or other associated parties in the event of any damage, injury or other negative effect as a result of using this device, and it's only intended for use by adults. Now, I've got a little bit of an issue with that last lot, but let's look at what it's actually doing, shall we? It's meant to prevent disaster in the case of a short. Now, let me tell you who should not be buying this. You should not be buying it if you use a ProVary. It already has all of the protection built in that you need. You do not need a short stop if you have a ProVary. You do not need a short stop if you are running something that has in it a kick. So if your device, your tube mod of choice or any mod of choice has a kick in it, you don't need a short stop. Okay? You just don't need one if you're using that. When else do you not need one? You probably won't need one if you are using protected batteries. We've got the checking out to do, and I'm going to be doing it, and I will put shorts across it, and you'll see that shortly after this little intro piece. But you probably won't need it if you are using protected batteries, because a protected battery, if it's a proper protected battery, will cut the current off if it senses a short, if the current is too high. They're usually limited to about 2.5 amps. So I hear you say, what if I want to draw more than 2.5 amps of current? What can I do then to mitigate any problems? And you might ask, what kind of device might draw more than 2.5 amps of current, and what kind of battery would it draw it from? Let me show you. If you are using this kind of thing, which is, he said, probably dripping juice everywhere, as you can see, a Genesis style device. These have a tendency to work very well at resistances below 1 ohm, and I've seen a lot of people saying they're running at 1 ohm and 0.8 ohms and stuff like that. If you are therefore using an unprotected battery, and by unprotected battery I mean one of these which has no protection, or one of these which has no protection, or a smaller version, an IMR in other words, while they will not vent with extreme prejudice, and while the hybrid styles, these ones, the GCR 18650s, will not vent with extreme prejudice, they come with no protection. So you might decide that it's a good idea to have a short stop stuck on the bottom of one or the other or both. And indeed, it wouldn't do you any harm so to do. If you were going to be using these in an otherwise unprotected device, that is to say something that has no electronics with it, then a short stop might give you a little bit of peace of mind, and it may prevent one of these things venting with, we are assured, The sound of a cow, I'll say breaking wind. I was going to say farting, but I'll say breaking wind. So your shortstop would fit on either end. And you could indeed put it on that way around if you wanted to. Although for God's sake, I don't know why. But it will fit on the nipple end of an AWIMR, as we can see. It will fit at the bottom end of any of your batteries, and would indeed give you that little extra peace of mind and a little bit of protection. And the next step is to put it through its paces with that kind of battery. It seems pointless testing it with a protected battery when that's not where it's meant to be used. So on we go to the testing. And here I am set up for the preliminary testing, and what I've got is the mod that I built myself. It's basically up here. You'll see that the shortstop is in place at the positive end of the battery. Everything's set up as it should be, and here I've got the oscilloscope connected up so that we can see what's going on. How interesting this is going to be. So let's see where we're at. All I need to do is actually short out the terminal. This terminal here. I just need to short this out and we'll see what's going on. Thankfully, the switch in here will latch, so if I switch it on, you'll see straight away that the trace has gone up to the top. And if I go to short it out, which I'll do more or less now, you'll see, there you go, shorted out, the current's dropped. Take the short away, the current comes back up, and I'm measuring voltage here, and you can see what's happening. Short it out and it's gone. Alright, take it off, back up, short it out, no current, short it out, there you go, boink, gone. And that's not heating up, there's nothing going on, the springs aren't moving, and back it comes. Now that to me is pretty damn good. What I've next got to do is find out which shorts out, well, you don't need it with a protected battery. If you're going to use an AW or a hybrid battery, then you might want to think about investing in one. It does what it says in the tin. If there's a short, it stops it from working. It's a level of protection. If you like, it's like adding a protection circuit to an IMR or a GCR battery. Think of it like that and you're going to be fine. It patently works. It patently does what it says on the tin, and on that basis, because it is effectively a protection circuit that you can move from battery to battery to battery, you might just want to team it up with the mods that you use that don't take a kick or anything like that. So if you're not into kicks, somebody like Cat for instance doesn't particularly like kicks, if you're not into kicks, you might want to look at a shortstop. Available from e-cigs, and the price I will tell you back in the studio. And the price is, and I'm sure it's going to upset some people, but it is actually 15 quid. Let me just bring up the page. There it is. Now, while that was running, and I know I'm going to be late with the adverts, I was watching what was going on in chat. This is very different, I feel, from the 2 cents thing. And I've done a little bit of digging today, and that particular sentence in the terms and conditions that I read out, that I said that I had an issue with, it can't apply in the UK. It's an unfair contract. They've built something that's supposed to do a job, it's got to do the job. So in the UK, those terms and conditions don't apply. It's that simple. It's 15 quid. Make of it what you will. All I can tell you is it does what it says on the tin. If you feel you need that kind of protection, then there you go. That's pretty much all there is to it. We'll take the ads, and when we come back, I'll have a look and see what else chat is saying, and then we'll go on with yet more stuff to look at. What a busy day it's been. Be back in 2 minutes.
The Haze Hour is brought to you by Janty, pioneers in electronic smoking. iVapor and iVapor Elixir, based in Yorkshire, for your e-cig needs. That's ivapor.co.uk and ivapor-elixir.co.uk. iVapor and ivapor-elixir.co.uk, proud sponsors of vaportrails.tv. And now back to the Haze Hour, sponsored by Janty.
Now, while the adverts were running, Mr. Dibley and I had a quick Skype conversation. Not talky, typey. And Gary was saying that he had issues with the 2-cent one that we didn't particularly like because of the extended length in the old unit. I've measured this up, and as close as I can see, it would equate to the length of a protected battery. If you would normally use a protected battery, if your device is made to fit a protected battery, then it looks as though this is only going to add at best a mil to that. I'm also seeing chat saying it's 15 quid, it's a lot of money. I would venture to suggest that it's not aimed at everybody. It's aimed at people that are using purely mechanical mods that feel they want some extra protection because they want to use either IMRs or GCR 18650s. Now, I don't have a problem using either of those without a protection circuit. Doesn't bother me. I've been using them long enough to know that there's not that issue. But there are people who are worried, and for those people, that's who it's aimed at. It's that simple. And yet, somebody might be making a lot of money at it. I suspect, though, it's not Daz, because I've never known him mark up to the extent where he's being penurious about anything. In my opinion, Daz is one of the good guys. He's one of the better of the good guys. Anyway, there you go. Like I say, it's there. You've got to decide whether it's value for you or not. All I can tell you is it does what it says on the tin, and it does it at a price of 15 quid in the UK. Lord knows what it costs in the States, but that kind of isn't really our kettle of fish, is it? Now, I'm going to move on. I've been tossing up in my mind which one of the two bits I was going to look at, and given where Cat went earlier on, I think I'm going to plump for the Vision Spinner. And again, the video will tell you why. There's a lot of pre-recorded stuff tonight. You can hear the voices on its way. It's the Virgin's blood. I'm convinced it wasn't good for me. And for anybody that didn't watch last night, you need to watch last night's show to understand what we're on about. Sit back and relax for 7.5 minutes while you watch this idiot blethering on again. Variations on a theme are a wonderful thing, I think. And today's variation is on the theme of the ego. At least I think that's where it is. And I want to look at two products that are overtly egos, but with a twist or a spin, depending on which way you look at it. And we're going to look at it rather more closely, he said, cueing the close-up shot. Here on the right we have the Ego Twist. Now, I've not been playing with these for a very long time, but this is the beastie, and there are, while it performs perfectly well, there are one or two issues that I have with it. The first one being, and this is quite important, I find it very, very difficult to read the legends. Now, this is, you are seeing this more or less as I am, although possibly with a little less interference from the light, and you will have difficulty to see what that is set to. I will tell you it's set to 3.2, and the easy way I tell, because my eyesight is so bad, is I just turn the knob all the way that way. Now you'll see as it moves round, you'll be able to see that 3.2. It's not very big. Even if I bring it up an awful lot closer to you, aside from it going out of focus, you will see that that 3.2 just isn't very big. It's not easy to see. And as you turn it round, that's now at 4, which you might be able to see. And then it's going all the way around to 4.8, which again, you might be able to see. Now, I'm here to tell you, I'm looking at this on a 32-inch monitor at 1080p. That's how I'm recording this. That's how I'm watching what I'm doing. Let's move it away a little bit and just say that as far as I'm concerned, that little knobbly thing at the bottom is a little bit smooth. You can't necessarily tell that you're not turning it. I find it easier to grip that and turn the body, if I'm to be honest. That's not to say that it doesn't work very well, because it does work very well. And again, I'm really quite enjoying these Vision Egos, and at 3.2 volts it's fine. And as you can see, working very, very nicely indeed. Not an issue with that, aside from the fact, as I say, that I find the whole notion of the knob to be a little bit, I don't know, it's not as easy to use as it could be. Which is where the spinner comes in. Now this is the Vision spinner. I can put this the right way up and you'll be able to see. And this goes from, well, you'll be able to see if I turn this knurled knob round, you can see quite easily that that is at 3.3 volts. Now I can hear all the yells from chat saying, but Dave, that's blue, it's not black. Alright, here's a black one. It's even easier to see. I specifically went for the one that wasn't as easy to see. But never mind, this is the 1300 milliamp version thereof, and if we put it alongside the twist, you can see that there is quite a difference in size. In fact, if I stand them upright, you can see that there's a good difference in size. Let's move the twist out of the way, and as you'll be able to see, it's a lot simpler to see what the legends are. I find this much easier to see. Even with my glasses off at this distance, I can see that that's at 4.8. I can see that's 4.3, so I know, because the two are in vision at the same time, roughly where I am when I am setting my voltage on this Vision spinner. I kind of like it. It's got my colourway on it, red and black and white. Anybody that knows me knows I like red and black and white. And I'll set it to 3.3 volts, and I will put on the Vision Ego as you do, and check that it's turned on, which it is, and give it a blast at 3.2 volts. And that, he said, is working very nicely. Now, you'll note, I'll get it up a little bit closer so that you can see in more detail. Whoops, come back a bit, David. There you go. You'll note that this bottom edge is knurled. The little knobby thing has a knurling on it. It's easier to grip. It's also, I think, slightly wider top to bottom, that way on. So turning it with that lovely big red marker, it's very easy to see where you are. This for me works kind of better for my rotten eyesight. And indeed, ooh, at 3.8 volts this vision's rather pleasant. Yes, producing rather nicely. So in two sizes we have we have the 1300 and we have the lesser device, which is 900 I believe, in comparison to a 900 milliamp twist, this time in chrome or brushed steel, whichever way you want to put it. We'll move the twist out of the way. Again, available from Safer Cigs, and yes, very pleasant. Nice rubbery covering on that one. I have to admit, I do like the blue. For a guy that's colourblind, I do like the blue. Most pleasant. So there you go. A bit of a twist on the twist, if you like. A new spin on the twist. It's the Vision Spinner from Safer Cigs. And thus far, I like it. Time, of course, will tell. And only time will tell. So yes, I shall look forward to putting this through its paces a bit more. In the meantime, I'd better throw it back to the studio. See you back there. And here I are, back here. And again, saw in chat, people wondering what sizes were available. Well, there you go. As you can see, there are 3 different capacities. There's a 650 milliamp hour, there's a 900 milliamp hour, and there's a 1300 milliamp hour. Black in 650, chrome in 650, blue in 650, black in 900, chrome in 900, blue in 900, and 1300 for the black. Yes, which is kind of not bad. Pricing's not bad either, have to be honest. I've been using this non-stop since Tuesday, and it's doing the biz very nicely. I do like it. And yes, I hear what people are saying, you turn the knob until it tastes nice. But then if you want to transfer, this actually happened, because I gave my darling wife one of these to try, and she turned the knob until she liked it. And then she said, right, I want to transfer that across onto my lava tube, because she's got one of them. And she looked, and she could work out where it was. When I gave her the same thing to do with the twist, like me, she's actually older, I was cradle snatched. Not something I tell her very often. You know what wives can be like, and we've got a very, very heavy frying pan. But yeah, just easier for read for us old folks. That's about the size of it, really. That's really what it's all about. I'm going to move swiftly on from there. I told you it was a packed show tonight, and you're going to like this. It's kind of leading into the mesh wiki type of thing, and after the break will be the first show how, but I want to play this before the break. Again, it's Kat, and she's been playing. I've got no idea how she's made this work, but it might be something you want to try. Have a watch, enjoy.
It's Kat again. Now you may have been wondering what that little bit of video was all about. Candle. And this, which is the mini did clone. You can tell it's mine because the top's never on straight. Never. I ordered the see-through tanks for it, a couple of them. I can't see I can get them to fit properly because I can't. It could just be me. But I took it apart, and while I had it apart I thought, I read some tips on the Vape Pit forum regarding mesh. Some people put them in a blowtorch, a cooking torch. They oxidize them on the top of a cooker rings, that sort of thing. But somebody said that they actually use just a Zippo lighter, and it doesn't take very long at all. And I thought, that's a good idea, let's try it, but rather than a Zippo lighter, which I can't hold the lighter down very long, I thought I'd try the candle. And you saw me actually doing it there. I rolled the wick, which in the case of this is, I usually do a bit about 30 by 40. And then I put it in the flame. Now, that's it there, and the only change I've made is there are 3 little nuts here on the did clone, which you can't see very closely in that, but there are 3. I've taken one off and I've actually used the middle one, so the coil is quite tight here on 4 wraps, and then I've cut it at a V. No hot spots at all. And that's using the drill bit method. And just pushing the coil in. And when I got my coil, you know, burnt in the flame, I've rolled it just on my mouse mat, that's all, to get it the size that I wanted. And as you can see, it's not a problem with that. So it's all interesting stuff, isn't it? And nothing wrong with the flavour at all. I'll be trying some more, I think. Catch you later. Ta-ra.
The Haze Hour is brought to you by Janty, pioneers in electronic smoking. And now back to the Haze Hour, sponsored by Janty. And we're back in the room. It's all go tonight. Hey, I tell you what, I'm out of breath. During the course of the adverts, Kat got hold of us and told me all about this SkySig thing, and I'm going to share that with you as well. Get a look at this. The biggest night of the year in British comedy, it says, and of course the way this is all set up, you'll know, there you go. Sky Sig announced the official e-cigarette partner of the British Comedy Awards 2012. The biggest night of the year in British comedy, when the UK's top comedic talents come together in celebration of comedic triumphs of the past year. With past broadcasts regularly attracting audiences near 10 million, the British Comedy Awards is arguably the UK's most loved and watched awards ceremony. This year, Sky Sig is delighted to be an associated sponsor, and you might catch a glimpse of a few comics and guests using an e-cigarette during the show. Now, I think there's a link already been dropped into chat, but we will, of course, post it up on our forum as we usually do with these things. But it'll be aired on Channel 4 at 9 o'clock on December the 12th, 2012. And there are still tickets if you want to go along. And I would imagine, I have to say, that if you did go along and you took your e-cig with you, you're not going to get kicked out. I'm a bit chuffed by that. Well done, Sky Sig. Thumbs up from the fat lad. We like that a lot. That's cool. That's a very, very cool thing. And I have got to get the next video underway, the last one, or we'll run out of time. I'm going to introduce Lee. He's a lad from Barnsley, down there in Yorkshire, like, and he's a good lad, and this is a show how he does mesh wicking. Wrap the laughing tackle round this.
Hello. The other day Dave put out a call for people who'd wired mesh mix up to send in a video, so I thought I'd send mine in, and I'd just like to say straight from get-go, this is not a tutorial, because anybody who listens to anything else would probably want to be committed to a mental asylum, but I'll just thought I'd show you how I make a wick. I've done all the boring bit like rolling it first, and I'm just about to start with the fun part, the blowtorch. But I just thought I'd share one little tip I use to make sure you get a nice rigid wick, is to take a small blunt needle and wrap it round that and slowly just work it round. Make sure you're working it right way, otherwise you'll unroll it. Anyway, enough of that. Everybody wants to see the blowtorch, so come on, let's go. And basically I use a paper clip to hold it while I've got my blowtorch. So, right, blowtorch. Just move that out of the way, and into the flame we go. Let's see the fun part. And get it nice and glowing orange. Yes, fun, fun, fun. And did I say anybody following my tips would probably want to be committed to a mental asylum? If this works first time, I will be more surprised than anybody out there. Spitting. Whee! Yeah, that's cool enough. Alright. Move this off for a second. Might need it on a bit later. Let's see what it fits like in the tank. I'll get it in right part, and that'll be a lot better. There we go, fits nice. sure that end is nice and so that's the end you want, particularly well oxidised. And that's the end that I originally made, ensure that it were going to go into the tank nice and with a nice loose fitting. Right. Fits in nice and loosely. Okay, it's time to wrap. Got the wire here pre-cut, ready to go, and I want it roughly about the middle. And this is a tip I picked up from Mr. Dole. He has some good ideas. Wrap the wig before you put it on. You get a nice neat wrap that way. I'm going to do about 5, maybe 6 wraps. Should roughly give me hopefully between 1.8 and 2 arms. And drop it in. Ooh, not bad. Not bad at all. Just work it down. There you go. Doing it that way, I can ensure I got a nice tight fitting on my bottom wig. There. Wrap it round. I don't know if you can see, but that wire's going on the ends towards the inside of the centre post and wrapping towards the outside of the screw, so that way when you tighten it down it pulls it tight. Let's tighten that bottom one up. Nice and tight. I don't need to really do all 10 just yet. To get that top one. Let's get the screw on. If this works first time, I will eat my hat. I'll try and keep that nice and tight. Ensure no hot spots. Like that's not going to happen, is it? No. If I don't get hot spots, I will be extremely surprised. That's tight. There we go. Okay, just check my arms. I have turned this Provari right down to 2.9 so I can. My God. 1.1 arms. No. How can it be? I don't know. Let's see. Got any shorts? Not that I can see. No. None that I can see. Aha, wait. Try again. The centre wick was touching right at the bottom of the tank. That's better. 1.9. 2 arms. Oh yes. I love it when it works. When they work, they're absolutely fantastic. And if I can make them work, more or less anybody with half a brain can. Oop, hot spot at the top. Right, let's try making that a bit tighter. And you've got juice covered hands, that's not easy. Try and pull that tight. The last thing you want is a hot top, as it will just burn out. Remember, at the minute, this is just make sure them like yeah. Juice. I'll trim that top part off now. There we go. Skizzers, always a good idea to have handy. Put a bit of juice on it, so we're not going to burn it out. I do it with a dry tank at first, but I just want a bit of juice on just to test. Let's see. No spots as yet, but it's only on 2.9 volts. Starting to get warm now. I'm just going to space my coil and try and get it nice and even. That usually helps. So have fun. So like I say, it's all a collection of tips from various people who build atomizers. Oh yes. Oh no. That's glowing nicely from the centre outwards, which is what you want. Remember, that's not got no juice in. We'll remedy that now. I'll put some juice in, see how it wicks. And there we go. Juice in. Let's see, is that going to wick nicely? It's a dip clone, so you have to tip a little bit, make sure juice is going up. And there it goes. Like I say, I do it on a lower voltage, then it's easier to spot your hot spots early on. As you get it right 1 minute, next minute it'll be glowing like the brightest star in the sky, which you don't really want. And it's easier to move your wires when they're hot. So usually will stay where you put them that way. Usually. Anyway, that's looking good. Time to trim off my wires. I'll leave them like that, then if I need to rewrap it's a lot easier. But once you're finished, trim them off and you should be good to go. I'll just turn this up to about 3.7. Power up to 3.7. Check it again. Yeah, plenty. Does help if I actually leave Provari to go off before I do it. E1. Oh, great. Lovely. E1 ever. Yep, E1 again. What's happened? I have no idea. E1. E1. That's not good. Let's turn it down a bit. I'll check. E1's just in case. 1.1. I love it. It says you can't have fun building coils. Oh, it's firing there. No idea. Okay, let's try it with the top on and give it a vape. If I blow my head off, it's my own fault. But it seems to be okay. No real hot spots. Just try. Quite nice. Anyway, that's enough from me. Back to the studio.
There you go. That was Lee, Seabiscuit, as everybody knows him in chat, showing you how he goes about it. And well done, Lee. Thank you for doing that. Anybody else out there that's got hints and kinks, and not just on mesh wicks, but on anything, I want to do the show how segment a lot in this show. And it's user submitted or viewer submitted videos. I would love to feature you with your hints and tips and showing people how you do things. Not tutorials, just show people how. I'll edit it down and it'll come out and it'll look as good as Lee's did. So one more time, Lee, thank you so much for that. And I am now seeing, well, I'm hearing actually, Chris Cat is going to be right on my case because I has overrun, as I usually do. So I'm going to have to say goodbye, farewell. And thank you so much for watching. Thanks to Chris again for doing what she usually does and keep me right on timings, like much notice I took tonight. And thanks to Justin for being there to step in when live stream patently couldn't. Thank you to all of you for watching, to Lee and to Kat for their vids tonight. From me, until I see you next time, tune in on Monday for Mr. Dibley. There's no show on Sunday night. We might be practicing. Until then, bye-bye.
The Haze Hour was sponsored by Janty, pioneers in electronic cigarettes.